Hey everyone, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the business owner's guide to AI automation cost. So this is an actionable buyer's decision toolkit and cost breakdown for production-ready AI systems. And if you're watching this, you're likely in one of two boats. Either you're ready to invest in AI automation but have no idea what to budget, or you're already receiving quotes from freelancers, agency owners, or recruiting agencies for an in-house AI automation engineer, but you don't know anything about the space and want a clear mental model of how much it actually costs. So first off, this guide breaks down the total cost of ownership, market benchmarks, a plug-and-play ROI calculator framework, a self-qualification scorecard, and 8 critical questions to ask vendors before signing a proposal. So table of contents, we have executive summary and buyer mindset. What is AI automation? The 3 cost layers, industry price benchmarks and market tiers, the 4-pillar AI ROI framework, interactive self-assessment checklist, vendor interrogation framework, implementation strategy and next steps, and finally, conclusion and contact. So first off, we have executive summary and buyer's mindset. So when investigating AI automation, non-technical business owners could typically fall into one of two distinct operational states. We have exploratory buyer as well as evaluating buyer. So if you're state A, you recognize that manual data entry, customer support triage, or repetitive lead routing is burning executive and staff bandwidth. You want to invest in AI automation, but every online guide or consultant gives vague answers like it depends. But you need a concrete line item numbers to build a realistic baseline budget before taking a single sales call. Now, if you're state B, which is evaluating buyer, you have already taken sales calls or posted jobs in Upwork, Fiverr, or LinkedIn. You are looking at proposals ranging anywhere from $500 to $25,000 for what appears to be the exact same project scope. And you need a structural framework to evaluate who is building a fragile prototype versus who is building a production grade operational asset that your business will run on. So before evaluating costs, we must first define what production AI automation actually means in practice. So a common industry misconception is that AI automation is strictly click and drag, no code, in visual platforms like Zapier, Make, or N8. While these platforms serve as the core backbone for connecting systems, softwares, APIs, pure no-code automations is just the surface level. So we have here a diagram. We have the visual orchestration layer, which is N8, Make, and Zapier. Then we have two branches, which is engineering logic and custom code. So in here, we have JavaScript and Python nodes because if you're going to create workflows in any of these platforms, whether you like it or not, there is a part where you have to do coding. Then you also have API rate limits and backoffs, data payload cleaning, automated error alerts, and so much more. And then we have here the AI and data layer. We have LLM system prompts, vector DBs, structured output parsing, and we have a few more here like guardrails, evaluation frameworks, AI observability layer, token management, and so many other things. So real AI automation relies on custom codes mixed with code engineering logic and a lot more processes underneath of these workflows. So custom JavaScript Python snippets. So again, example, running data transformation, dynamic payload filtering, and regex parsing inside the nodes. Then we have API rate limiting and backoff handlers. So this prevents system crashes when high volume data hits third-party API limits like handling OpenAI or CRM, rate limits gracefully. Then we have a database state management. So here you have your execution histories, your contacts, and other data. Then we have one of the most important things in AI automation, which is fallback error logging as well as handling. So like catching API payload changes or service outages and routing exceptions directly to an internal team channel, whether that's in Slack, in Teams, Discord, or maybe Telegram, without silently dropping data. Because once you have created your workflow, chances are it's a build and forget. So your automations, they will be running 24/7. And chances are there could be cases where there's an update and said update is a different data type. And that data type is not what is expected in the workflow. And what if you have no fallback error logging? What would happen then? You wouldn't be able to realize that your workflow crashed. There has to be a fallback error handling to the automations that you create, because without this underlying engineering architecture, a drag and drop workflow break within weeks when third-party software updates its API, resulting in silent data losses and costly emergency repairs, which we do not want to happen. Next up, we have the three cost layers. So evaluating an AI automation solely on its initial development fee is the single fastest way to blow past an operational budget because a complete system consists of three distinct layers. So we have TCO is equals to build fee plus tool stack monthly plus maintenance, which is the retainer, and this is the talent. So layer one, we have build and engineering costs. So the upfront software development fee charged by an AI automation engineer, a contractor, or an agency. And this phase covers discovery and process architecture, auditing manual workflows, identifying edge cases, mapping data pipelines, and defining system requirements. Then we have infrastructure and database setup, configuring vector stores for RAG and relational databases for storing context and execution memory. Then we have custom code and prompt engineering, where we have writing system prompts, schemas, custom JavaScript or Python nodes for precise output parsing. Then we have system testing and a fallback architecture, where you're building automated retries, error logging hooks, and human-in-the-loop fallback interfaces for system exceptions. Now, the case is, this is just the general thing that I know. Now, the case is, per contractor, per AI automation engineer or agency, this could differ. And this could be lessened, or this could be so much more. Like, say, for instance, you could create here a front end for your automation, like because the NA10 automation layer is on the backend side of things, and you would want to be able to see it on the front end. So you could create a simple web app that shows your automations, which is running, if there's an error, and so many other things. Also, there could also be another phase, which is for AI observability, token management, and so many things related to AI, because you want to be able to understand the cost of how much running these AI in your system. And we have next up layer two, which is infrastructure and tool stack, and it's recurring monthly. So we have workflow orchestration, LLM API usage, vector DB and data storage, as well as a specialized API services. So we have N8N, self-hosted, whether that's in a VPS or the cloud. We have Make, we have Zapier, and cost is typically $5 to $100 a month. And for the primary cost drivers and operational nodes, so self-hosting N8N on a managed cloud instance or VPS could run at $5 to $15 a month with unlimited executions. However, you have to find someone that can manage a VPS. Then we have here next, which is LLM API usage. So again, these are the costs for calling the different AI models of OpenAI, Anthropic, or Gemini. And then we have Vector DB. So there are free tiers, and if you're going to need a few more, then just move forward with the paid ones. Then we have specialized API services like 11 Labs, API, or Twilio, and they differ from their pricing. Next up, we have layer 3, which is maintenance and system operations. Now, this is the one that's going to be maintaining your AI automation infrastructure. So in production software, build it and forget it does not exist. Or in my vocabulary, it does not exist, because I treat AI automation as an infrastructure for your business that has to be maintained, that has to be refined, that has to be improved over time. Because a third-party software update their webhooks, their authentication keys expire, and language models, which is AI models, they may occasionally output unparsable formats, or that model changes and you need to update things. And these pricings, they're just the general things that I saw online, but please do your own research on this part. Then we have number 4, which is industry price benchmarks and market tiers. So the market for AI automation varies dramatically depending on who you hire. Understanding market tiers allows you to contextualize any incoming proposal. So tier 1, we have freelancers. Now, for context, this is just again the general side of things for you to be able to get context, because for this part, as you can see, tier 1, which is freelancers, it just says basic Zapier make or make links, so no error handling and failure rate. But there are other people out there, as long as you could find a trustworthy person that could build it for you, that could do an amazing job. Next one, we have tier 2, which is specialized AI automation engineers or boutique agencies. So we have N8N, Python database integration, error logging, and recovery. Because the thing is, it's not just, again, a drag and drop tool, a no-code tool that you just connect things. So there is a specific knowledge that you have to know to be able to really create production grade AI and automation systems, and not just, the things that we see online where it's full of hype, it's like magic, but clearly it's not. Okay. And people are investing time, money, so that they'd be able to hone their skills here. Next one, we have tier 3, which is enterprise software houses. So a full stack custom UI, managed service, air gap deployments, a SOC 2, and HIPAA overhead. So again, you could find, maybe a single person that knows all of this, like me, and that knows AI automation, that can manage cloud, a VPS that has experience in full stack deployments, and can also understand tech and business. But yeah, so again, to recap, we have Tier 1, freelancers. Tier 2, specialized AI automation engineers. And Tier 3, enterprise software development houses. And also, this one is really important because the truth about rip-offs versus true ROI. So a high price tag that is $10,000 plus is not inherently a rip-off. If a custom build costs $10,000 and it incurs $100 a month in tool stack fees, but it saves your company $100,000 per year in labor, manual errors, or lost sales leads, like the build pays for itself in the span of a few years, or even months actually. And so value is defined by the underlying business results like time saved, capacity created, revenue captured, or depending upon your business process, rather than raw hours spent dragging nodes on a screen. And also, again, to be able to create these kinds of workflows, these kinds of systems, specific knowledge has to be learned. And these people, they spend hours refining their crafts so that they'd be able to create really robust production grade AI and automation systems. Next up, we have the 4-pillar AI ROI framework. So use this operational formula to calculate the exact return on investment before allocating budget on a project. So total annual ROI is equals to direct labor save plus error rework save plus speed to lead revenue plus capacity cap relief. So we have here a diagram, which is total annual savings. We have pillar 1, which is direct labor elimination. We have pillar 2, error rework elimination. We have pillar 3, speed to lead multiplier. And then pillar 4, which is scale admin cap relief. So first off, we have direct labor elimination. So annual savings is equals to hours spent per week times 52 times loaded hourly rate times automation target. So we have here an example. A team spends 25 hours per week executing manual client onboarding and data entry at a $40 hour loaded wage. So automating 80% of this task already reclaims 20 hours per week. So as you can see, savings is equals to 20 hours per week times 52 weeks times $40 per hour is equals to $41,600 per year. So if someone quoted you $10,000 for this, for sure you'd be shocked, because for this kind of workflow, for this kind of simple thing, it's the $10,000. But if you know that in a year later that you'll be saving $41,600 per year. Yeah. So next up we have pillar 2, which is error rework elimination. So annual savings is equals to monthly processing volume times error rate times cost to fix single error times 12. So again, example, a firm processes 500 invoices per month with a 6% human data entry error rate. So 30 errors. And each error takes $75 in labor and vendor overhead to resolve. So savings, 30 errors per month times 75 times 12 months is $27,000 per year. Then pillar 3, we have speed to lead revenue multiplier. So pipeline captured is equals to inbound leads per month times conversion rate increase times customer LTV times 12. So again, example, an agency receives 100 qualified leads per month but takes 4 hours to send an initial response, converting at 5%. So installing an automated lead qualification agent drops response time to under 60 seconds, which increases conversion to 8%, which is 3 new clients per month. So we have here 3 clients per month times 3,000 times 12 is equals to $108,000 per year in pipeline revenue. And then the last part, which is pillar 4, capacity cap and opportunity cost relief. So high value staff like operation directors, senior account managers are freed from manual administrative tasks, and they can refocus on strategic client growth, account retention, or proactive business development. Now, depending upon your business, you could have a few more pillars on this. Next, we have here an interactive self-assessment checklist, which is the Am I Ready test. So run your intended process through this 5-point qualification test before soliciting quotes from agencies or developers. So number one, which is process consistency. So the target process follows predictable, repeatable business rules at least 80% of the time. We have number two, which is digital inputs. And these arrive electronically like web forms, emails, digital PDFs, API webhooks or CSV exports. Number three, we have measurable volume. So the process occurs at least 20 plus times per week or consumes greater than 8 to 10 staff hours weekly. We have here number four, which is standardized tools. So the underlying software tools. HubSpot, Google Workspace, or Slack possesses accessible REST APIs or webhooks. Now, these are the ones that is necessary for us to be able to connect your software to another software. We have the last part, documented steps. So there is an existing step-by-step standard operating procedure, SOP or Loom video detailing the exact manual execution steps. And this is the workflow readiness scorecard. This is also what I preach and what I say every time that I talk to a potential client is that creating an AI automation infrastructure in your business builds you a better business because you're forced to define the process. And once you're forced to define the process, we would be able to scale it using AI and automation, which is exactly what we're talking about right now. Next, we have scoring matrix. So 4 to 5 checks, prime candidate for custom AI automation, and high probability of achieving a 3x plus return on investment within 90 days. We have here 2 to 3, which is process needs operational cleanup. So standardize manual steps and write clear SOPs first before hiring an automation developer. Then if it is 0 to 1, do not automate yet. Focus on establishing core business processes manually before introducing software automation. Or let's cross that, AI automation. And again, as you can see, AI automation builds you a better business. However, if you're going to add AI automation on top of processes that isn't standardized, that you don't know which is which, you don't know bad data compared to the good data, and so many other things, then it would just be a domino effect. AI and automation will not magically fix your business. So you have to check over everything. And yeah, so you yourself know your business. So I'll leave you at that. Number 7, we have vendor interrogation framework. So 8 questions to ask before signing. Now, these ones are just what I have thought of. So if you have other things to consider, other things to check, then please, by all means, add them here. Also, these target answers, they're just standardized. So it could differ because, for instance, at number 8, can you walk me through the ROI payback timeline calculation for the specific build? I mean, if the developer doesn't know your processes, then he won't be able to do it. Again, we have here, can I see a conceptual diagram of the proposed workflow architecture, including where custom error handlers, fallback triggers, and nodes live? How are recurring software infrastructure costs itemized? What occurs when OpenAI Anthropic or a third-party application changes its API schema? So do you build systems on open accessible platforms or a proprietary code locked inside your own platform? What is the expected autonomous success rate versus human-in-the-loop execution rate? Where is our company data process? And how are sensitive keys and PII, personally identifiable information, secured? And this is also very important. So again, very important, because if you have, or rather if you're working with very, very sensitive data and you do not want this data to pass through an AI model, then you have to ensure that certain practices, certain processes are in place, okay? Then number 7, we have what exact handoff documentation, SOPs, and system walkthroughs are delivered upon completion. And then can you walk me through, which is the question earlier, ROI payback timeline calculation for the specific build. So next up, we have implementation strategy and next steps. So we have 3 steps. Step 1, select one bottleneck, just one, okay? Just one. Audit operations and pick a single high volume rule-based task. So you first have prove a proof of concept, then allocate the budget, factor in costs of development, including talent hire. And then step three, measure ROI and scale systematically. So track time save over 30 to 60 days before expanding to adjacent processes. So again, select one high impact bottleneck. Do not attempt to automate an entire business at once. Identify a single high frequency rule based task like lead qualification, invoice line item extraction, or support ticket triage. Then for this, again, the budget, it would depend upon your research, but deploy a single fully engineered AI automation solution to validate first stability, reliability, and error handling. Then again, you have to measure. So measure operational ROI for 30 to 60 days. So track total hours saved and error rates reduced before expanding automation architectures to adjacent business departments. And this is where, a front end is really good because you'd be able to see the total hours saved and then you could compare it in a dashboard. Then finally, we have conclusion and contact. So AI automation isn't about slapping together fragile no-code triggers and hoping they don't break. It's about building production-grade digital infrastructure that directly impacts your business. Because if you have taken a look at the pillars that we have talked about earlier on, just one workflow could save you for how much money? Now imagine if that continued on for years, right? And so whether you are looking to budget your very first system or trying to evaluate codes from freelancers and agencies, understanding what we have talked about in this video would help you. And if you have a process in your business that is currently eating up hours of high value labor, let's map out what a reliable production ready system looks like for your business. You could find more about me, my story, my credentials, my certifications, the projects that I do, as well as open source projects, as well as paid products in my website, which is rodrisymbol.com. And you can directly email me if you have any questions at rodri@rodrisymbol.com. So I hope this video helped and provided you with the mental model and information to help you in your decision-making process, whether you're investing in AI automation or you're looking to invest in it. And if you want more AI automation content, subscribe so you don't miss a video. Ciao!